It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and a piercer talk about some of the more common things that those that collect tattoos and piercings and those that do them may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Well, today we're going to talk about something that if you've been living under a rock or work way too much like these guys do, haven't heard about, it's TattooGate. We'll get into all the details on all that stuff and everything else and talk about our opinion on it, because you know that's what you've been waiting for. But before we do that, let's talk about who's here. All the way over here on my right-hand side, your left is Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen Tattoo. Directly next to me is Jack Lowe. He owns and he also tattoos Skin Kitchen Tattoo. I'm DaVo. I own and operate as in Pierce at the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. And then over here is Brent Starr, tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen. So what happened with this is basically this woman paid $2,600 and never saw the inside of a tattoo studio.
You said like TattooGate. I was expecting like the little Velcro shoes and the purple Kool-Aid, and we're not getting that.
I think it's a reference to Watergate.
Oh, okay.
You know, I wonder if they would have named Watergate something else other than Watergate, like if it would have been Water Boulevard.
It's you know, we're in this. I think live in a world where you got to think of the worst thing that anyone could ever live through, and then compare it to that. So
like Tattoo Lewinsky.
So it sells. You know,
I guess.
but it is.
They blew that.
You know, it's
really.
the age-old story, I guess, of, you know, going into an arena where you don't know what you're doing. So it's easy to get taken advantage of. You know, that's why do you think, like, you know, a lot of times, you know, boats, houses, you know, cars, things that people don't buy a lot of times are always the things that people get screwed on. And you hear stories about, you know, cars especially. You know, people buy a car every now and then. It's not something that they do all the time, and they don't know all the rules, and they know that it's kind of this dance, but they don't know. So you got a person that's what they do every single day of their life is sell these cars, and they know the ins and outs and the right words to say and the right times to get you to do what they want. So it sounds like someone with that mentality found their way into the tattoo industry and found their mark, just like the prince who's still trying to get his money, you know, out of Hawk. So he just needs you to pay him some money. And she found her mark and just sucked that mark dry for everything she could.
Now you need a tattoo broker, you know? Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you've said this numerous times. There's kind of two extremes of people. There's the people that do what they do because they love what they do and they're excited they get paid for it and can keep a living wage and get stuff and have a house and everything. Then there's the people that all they see in it is profit.
Yeah. Me.
Unfortunately.
And I'm afraid that this is a person that is in that direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that'd be pretty safe to say. I
don't think even likes tattooing.
Doesn't seem to.
Absolutely not. Does not. The only. I mean, you'd have a hard time convincing me that person is into tattooing for any other reason. I mean, if that was me, I watched the little story on it. If that was me and there was that conflict where, you know, even if the artist was right, she didn't, you know, tell you enough. Well, then you didn't ask the right question.
Yeah, it's your job to find out.
You need to know. This person doesn't get tattooed every day. You do tattoos every day. You need to make sure that you are offering a good service to this person. And to do that, you need to know exactly what they want. Now, you should know by now the questions to ask to get you off the hook later if you don't do it right. Mm-hmm. You know, and so you need to have those things said and have those answers. So if something like this down the road happens, then you're completely backed up. Not leave this vague gray area where you've got all this room to hide and wish-wash around and blame it on the other person. You know, she's not interacting with this person with good intentions at all.
I don't think so.
And thank God that it looks like the tattoo community, you know, rose up and took care of this woman and make sure that she doesn't leave with a bad taste in her mouth and never, you know, is able to experience what tattoos can do for you and everything else. So I'm proud of my tattoo peeps out there. Good job.
Well, we were looking at the video, like on where she sent, I guess, what she called the sketch. I'll say that lightly. The tracing or whatever. You see over on the side where she's got like her little notes where she talked to the client during the consult. Well, it's supposed to be a 45-minute consult, and she said it was 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But she only had like 4 things wrote down. In 30 minutes, you wrote 4 things down that this lady wanted. Like, you didn't ask any questions. You didn't know. You searched. You sought out no information of what she was interested in. What it was about the reference that she sent you that you liked. You didn't ask about anything. That,
I wonder,
any of the highlights. Like,
well, how long? I wonder, was it from the consult till the produced image?
I don't think they really tell.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
And I can't understand. I wonder if the woman even looked at the photo that she sent.
I don't think she did.
Yeah.
Because it's anybody that has seen it or has not.
She searched, Fox and flowers and scrolled
the first
through,
thing she
and
got.
she didn't look. She just saw the subject matter and searched and grabbed one. She didn't think of how it was going to work on the body, what the client really wanted the fox to look like, and how she wanted the fox to move or anything. She just searched fox with flowers, and I bet if you search that comes up on the first page.
And it was supposed to be a full sleeve, wasn't it?
It was a half
upper
sleeve,
half,
but the full
upper
fox.
Okay.
on the outside. So
Yeah, she wanted the full fox. She wanted it half sleeve, upper sleeve.
And that artist may normally or in the past have had good intentions and does produce really good art, but maybe they need to slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
seriously,
Yes.
they need to
take a step back.
because look what it's doing. Look how it's making you look. Look at these things that you're saying to this woman who's just trying to get a good tattoo. You're either overworked or you're just a bad person. And maybe it's a little bit of both. But either way, I hate the fact that there's somebody out there that can put the word tattoo on their business card and above their business and
which
do things
anybody
like this.
can. It's not like
Unfortunately, yes.
Right. And it's not like I'm, want a law or anything, but it's just unfortunate. But that's why this happens.
Yeah.
We as people can't allow those people to do that.
Right.
And that's the only reason it's going to continue is because we allow it. That's it. That's the only reason anything ever continues.
And for those that have been under a rock, and just kind of explain what happened.
Yeah.
Basically, this woman had previously gotten a tattoo that she was very satisfied with. So she goes to Instagram, like most people do, or Pinterest, or wherever they see their photos, and finds an artist that she feels like is really, really good. I'm kind of on the fence on that one because you could do a lot of adaptation. And I've looked at a lot of photos on Instagram, and there's a lot of trickery.
A lot of stuff's doctored.
The filters.
But anyway, at any rate, she's really excited about working with this artist. So the artist says, okay, fine. There's $1,000 drawing fee. Okay, that's the first one. And to book an appointment, we charge $180 for a consultation, 45-minute consultation. And then she goes to the consultation, which is a Zoom interaction.
Yeah,
not even in person. So she's not even been inside the studio yet. She's already spent $1,100, almost $1,200. Then she's giving the option at the close of it of one of 3 options. The first one being that she pay $1,500, which is the one she chose, where you get a concept sketch and you can request one change. The second is $3,500. You get the sketch, and you get to make a couple, which is not really defined. So is that 2? Is that 3 changes, if you wish? The last one is $6,000. You get the concept sketch.
2 sketches.
2 sketches.
2 sketches and make changes.
And then multiple chances to change.
But out of all these options, none of this money comes off your tattoo. None of it, not a dime.
That's the wildest part.
Insanity.
Now, I would think if you had the balls to charge these kind of prices, I would know your freaking name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's too many to keep up with these days. There's so many incredible freaking people doing it out there that obviously, I mean, there's no way I could keep up with them all. But Jesus.
I mean, if I was going to get tattooed by Jack Rudy,
You're still not going to pay that much money.
But I'd expect some type of additional fee.
But it would at least sort of make sense because you do know Jack Rudy does tattoo and, has been forever.
Yeah.
And so, but this person, I don't know how you get to the point where you can ask these fees with a straight face.
Does it ever say what they charge for the tattoo? Like,
yeah, I wonder.
She said a full day is
it's
$1,000.
$1,000 a day, but
for a full day,
a day is never defined.
But a day's 2 hours.
Well, the day started supposedly at 9 a.m. and she showed up at noon. Then she tattooed for 2 hours and then called it a whole day.
So noon to 3, which is
$1,000.
6 hours.
That is not.
So what's 1,000 divided by 6?
Why would you do that?
That's
DaVo?
insanity, dude.
Yeah, that is pretty insane.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, that's what she's charging $1,000 a day.
Yeah, that's
on top of raping them on the other fees.
You know, and it doesn't. If the client paid this and left with the thing that she absolutely adores and loves it, there's not an issue.
No,
there really is not an issue. She's fine paying it. Fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's her money. She can do whatever she wants, and she's happy with the service. There's no story here. But the fact that she's not, and rightfully so, because it's ridiculous, and she's not producing that artwork. You know,
you got nothing for all that money.
I mean all that money for 20 minutes of you doodling around, asking 3 questions, and then somehow it's her fault that she didn't tell you enough. Hey, it's time for her to tell you what she wants, and now you investigate to find out the details, and you didn't.
Dude, with the first 2 fees, without even the three option fee, I would feel obligated to have a finished line drawing, with a finished colored or shaded, you know, whether it's a black, rare color study, that they could frame up and hang up in their room, in their house, and do the tattoo. You know what I mean? For the tattoo charge. Like, I couldn't, like, that is just, that blows my mind.
Not a screen cap of your frickin'
something
iPad.
you traced.
Oh my God.
So when she does address the fact that it's not what she asked for, the woman turns around and says, well, if you want to pay, I think it's another $2,300 for a new concept drawing.
How could you even say that to
I know, I can't believe it.
And then after that, like when things are really rolling down and, you know, there's no hope, she basically says to her, hey, we can either go forward on this or we can just part ways. No offer to refund money.
Yeah, nothing.
Refuse to refund the money.
Not trying to make the customer happy at all.
No. And it's all about, to me, it's all about avoiding actually doing work.
Yeah, you're getting out of tattooing because you don't want to tattoo.
You're making money off tattooing without doing
without tattooing.
Yeah.
I give my clients several options usually when I draw something because I get so excited about it. I can't draw just one daggone thing, first off. Second off, like even when I do the consult, I do the work that they want. I draw up what they want. I put more in it that they really wanted. I tattoo it for them. I still kind of feel like I hate asking for money at the end of it. That's why I'm glad we have Jesse. Because I love what I do.
Exactly.
If I wanted a lottery, I'd do it for free.
She doesn't.
I really would. I wouldn't charge a penny. Because I love to do what I do.
Yeah.
See, go ahead.
Oh, I can't believe that somebody could, ask for that much money.
And I try to avoid
I had a guy
to the table.
Yeah, I had a guy working for me one time, and I started just seeing that he wasn't, like, something was off with him and he just wasn't being himself. And so I took him aside and I was talking to him, and one of the first things I asked him, I was like, do you like to tattoo?
Yeah.
And he says, not really.
Whoa.
And I go, then you're not going to be happy here. You're not. You know, it's not you, it's me. You know, you don't like it. You know, then it's not going to work here, man.
Why was he tattooing? Did he say, like,
what was he tattooing?
Or why was he tattooing if he didn't like it?
Just I think partly because it's fun to be a race car driver, but if you don't really have a love for cars, it's not going to be that fun for very long.
It's the same thing with any art form. I think. You get the people, and you can tell, like, especially in the music industry, when people are like, oh, they don't care, they're just phoning it in. That's what's going on.
Exactly.
They're done with it.
They got burnt out.
They're burned out. They don't care about it anymore.
Or they just wanted to be the rock star and don't really know much about the music.
Right.
They just want to be in a van and having sex with the, the fancy ladies.
I don't want to show up to practice and do the work, and I just want to, go on stage.
So they're in it for the wrong reasons,
cool.
and when it doesn't work out the way their fantasy was, because their heart isn't leading them there, it's their fantasy. It's that,
How sad.
And so they get there and they don't know what to do with it, and it's not exciting because they're getting nothing out of it. So they stumble along, make it somebody else's fault, and end up ripping people off on their way out, is the way it sounds. Hopefully she's on her way out. And for her own good as well.
And let's not give her too much credit. She didn't come up with this on her own.
No.
Right.
No, basically she went to it's never been defined where it was, if it was the online seminars he was doing or if it was something that happened at a convention. But it's Russ Abbott that came up with this stuff.
Well, the class he was given about how to produce more money with charging for the consults and artwork and all that. I get that. And I mean, she could misunderstood what he was saying. You know, I don't know. I haven't heard it. Well, I haven't heard the seminar, and I haven't.
Basically, he came up with this step thing.
Well, yeah.
And what he's trying to address, and I get that, is he's trying to address the idea that tattoo artists spend a lot of time drawing and they don't get compensated.
People take advantage of it.
Yes.
And the thing is that most artists, including the ones I'm here with, consider the hourly fee to help pay for that and compensate for that. It's included in the price.
Right.
It's this idea of we need to separate that to something else.
Yeah.
And I understand there are challenging clients that make you draw something 7-8 times over.
Oh yeah.
And don't communicate well and etc.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the best option, instead of charging them a phenomenal amount of money, would be, hey, we're not working.
The artist should have realized this isn't my guy. You know, like this, we're just not going to jive. Refund the money, if not all, which I would, almost all of it, and you know, and try to explain the best way you can. You know, my number one, priority is to make sure that you have a tattoo you're going to love for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I don't feel that I'm able to connect with you at a level that's going to allow me to be able to create that for you. Maybe give them some ideas of other artists that may be able to help them, and if those don't work out, offer, maybe I can, come up with some more if this, I want to help you get to there.
Exactly.
I'm just not the guy to do it.
Right.
And bow out of it and make it better for everyone and potentially get even clients out of that person because you were honest, you treated them well, and you showed them, you put your money where your mouth was and said, hey, I can make some money off you, but I can make some money off of, a lot of people. It's not about that. It's about you at the end of the day having an incredible experience with your tattoo. And somebody else can get you there better than I can.
Like I said, when you're having a difficult client and it just isn't working out, the charging them $6,000 isn't going to solve that.
That shows me that she's just there for the money.
That's horrible.
It's not about the client. It's not about their experience. It's not about making somebody happy.
And there were people online, including her, bragging about making like $17,000 a week and all this other stuff.
Who cares?
Because Who cares, man? It's not about that.
And this is where, to use an example, I was involved in the live music scene here in Des Moines, and there's an ordinance that didn't allow old ages past 9 o'clock, and I wrote out a letter or an email to somebody, and that wasn't supposed to be publicly shared, but he shared it with a bunch of people, including a number of venue owners. And the thing that I said is that it should be designated that one type of business is a venue, another type is a bar, and then get around this ordinance. I got good feedback. One of the ones that always stuck out to me was one particular bar or venue owner who wrote me back out of that. He got, hey, this is a way for me to limit my competition and make more money.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He didn't see it as, hey, this is the way to help grow this music scene here and get more kids involved with it and more going on in the future. He just saw the dollar signs.
Yep.
That's it. And that's the kind of thing I think with pitching this. Yeah. I mean, if you have a situation where you're such in demand, where you can charge extra to sit down and do beautiful concept drawings, and maybe something that people would be like, hell, I want this on my wall, that type of thing. Yeah, charge for that.
Yeah,
that might work.
And this is the thing, though. It's easy to come down on the artist because, it's a shitty thing to do. It's not the way you treat people. It's not honest. But she didn't put a gun to her head, as the expression goes. She chose to give this person money. She took it out of her pocket and put it in the other person's hand. And that's why things like this happen, and that's why this stuff is important. It doesn't mean that there needs to be some other person involved charging money to make sure it doesn't happen. No, we make sure it doesn't happen.
Right.
You know, as a community of people that want people to be treated fairly and not taken advantage of, and have tattooing be, you know, a good thing, a positive thing, and you know, not a way to screw somebody. And the best way you do that is exactly this.
Right.
Tell about your experience. And then that's going to hold that person responsible. And people like that do exist, that think that they can get away with it, they don't last long, and they're chased out. And that makes it less likely for the next person, because they know that they're going to get called on their shit. Like I said, the only thing that allows those things and those people to happen is exactly that, because we allow it to happen.
And with that being said, like you're saying right at the end, with it's being allowed, as a customer, when somebody's taking advantage of you, you have to know when to go, okay, I've given you $1,000, I haven't got anything. Don't double down, for God's sake. Don't throw more money away.
But she didn't know that was irregular.
I understand.
Right?
I understand, but like, you have to, your common sense has to kick in.
Yeah.
You have to go, wait a minute. You haven't produced anything for me at the price the astronomical price I've already paid. You haven't done anything to provide, you know, for that money or show that's worth it, and you're not willing in talking to you to make any effort to do so. Yeah. So I'm not giving you. It's time to pull the plug. You just caught a loss and move on. There's thousands of phenomenal artists out there, thousands.
But I've noticed though, people kind of tiptoe around someone they view as a really good artist. There's kind of this starstruckness to where they don't want to offend them, because they want to be friends. They want to have a friendly, obviously, a relationship with this person. So which is great, because that's the relationship I want too.
Right.
But the artist was treating it as no, I'm just here to take your money.
Right. Yeah.
And she was here as I know you're good intentioned and you're a great artist, and that I know you have your process, and I don't want to question that. So I'm just going to keep feeding it money, because I don't want to be one of those jerks that thinks you guys just work for free. But the artist is taking advantage of those people.
Like I said, I get that, but the artist has to show you as much respect back and appreciation as you're showing towards them for being a good artist.
It's part of that collaboration.
You have to give them that respect as being a good client.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
two-way street.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: it's a common grift, as a scam.
Yeah.
You suck them in with a little amount. You make them commit financially. Then you suck them in for a little bit more, and you have them hammered in.
Now they're invested.
Now they're invested. Now they're never going to see that money again. And unless they pay more money, they're never going to see anything. That's the method that this person is.
Yeah,
it's the old as the sun.
It's old as hell, but. You know, that's where your common sense got set in. Now that they've got you on the hook for this money that you've committed to, committing any more money, you're still not going to get anything you want out of it. You're
but not everybody's
giving more money.
But there's that choice to make. Yeah. Do I bow out now and just give up, or do I gamble a little more because I can win it back?
That's the gambler's fallacy.
Exactly.
That's
exactly.
Psychological.
And that's what they play on. It's just like a casino. They use that same psychology in that. And shame on this woman for doing that.
Absolutely.
For using any industry, but especially an industry that, you know, you found one that gives a shit, darling. And thank God that that these people were willing to really be ridiculed themselves for making these choices, because you know there's people out there that are on the artist side thinking that they did nothing wrong, and sure, by the law technically maybe they didn't, but they're a piece of crap and they know it. It's not how you do. It's not how you treat people.
And like with Russ being called out on it and him taking responsibility and paying. Well, he
really
did. He paid for her to go.
No, he offered to.
Well. At least he offered. I mean, at least he should have.
He put out a really long.
I misunderstood. I thought he said he
long
paid for
TikTok that involved him vaguely saying that she was doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
No apology.
Trying to kind of
I misunderstood that. My bad.
That's not what I was saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I misunderstood that
and then
part.
he quoted a couple other people that he'd worked with that were making phenomenal amounts of money, but they're not some no name in Toronto.
I mean, that's the thing. And if nobody's complaining about somebody who's doing this exact same thing and they're happy and the artist is happy,
so be it.
Then fine, pay a $10 million if you're happy with the results.
Consider it part of the cost of the tattoo.
It's whatever. You can't put a price on something like art anyway. You can't say something is too much when you're talking about art, because art does not have a boundary. It's a fuzzy gray area at best that people see on their own. My art is not your art. Your art is not my art. A lot of times,
it's very much in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
It's about representing what you're selling honestly, and representing the art, the community that you're representing, and representing them well.
Yes.
If you're there just to be a thief, well,
then get out.
Get the. I don't like you here any more than anywhere else.
And I understand that too. Like I said, I've been to the art museum and I've looked at pieces of art that are like tens of millions of dollars. And I stand there and scratch my head and look like I wouldn't give you a buck for that. But that's me. Mm-hmm. That's my personal reference.
Get the person next to you to be like, they
can't live without it.
It makes them feel so.
Exactly, and that's awesome.
When I'm with my loved ones, this is what it makes me feel.
That's the beautiful thing about art.
That's the cost. How do you put a price on that?
Exactly,
you can't. So it's not about.
And in turn, I've seen stuff that I'm like, oh my God, I'd give you like the world for that. And people are like, you like that? Like, yeah, man. I think it's garbage. Whatever. That's how art is.
It is.
That's the awesome thing about it.
I guarantee that there are artists out there that are charging probably around, somewhere. Well, what we would think would be outrageous, right? But if they are taking care of their clients, giving their clients what they think they're paying for their money, and their clients are leaving with a smile on their face, well then, awesome for the client, awesome for the artist.
Yeah.
Everybody's great. But I don't think this artist had any intention of ever giving a crap about this lady.
And it shows in the other person that came out.
Absolutely.
Was it Rye McClue?
She needs a break, man.
She paid $4,000 for a kind of upper, I'd say, quarter sleeve.
That she never finished.
Basically, the first time she set up the appointment, it was supposed to cover up some birds on her chest and wrap down, and she quoted her $1,700 for that. Then she got pregnant, so she decided that she'd cancel the appointment. The woman did not refund her deposit, even though she gave her over a week's notice. Jump ahead a year or so, and she's like, I still want to get this tattoo. She gets back in touch with her, puts down a new deposit, and the woman says, well, we're not covering up the birds for that price. I can only do the upper arm part. So she goes, okay. She sets up the appointment, puts down the deposit for a full day of tattooing, shows up at 9 in the morning.
When she's supposed to be
there. She showed up at 3 o'clock. And then, from what I understand, around 4 or 5 o'clock, she told her that she had to leave because she had to go pick up her kids or something. So she got like 3-4 hours of tattooing. And I know my timeline's wrong there. But
she sat and waited for more time.
Then she got tattooed.
Tattooed for him.
So what? And
then wanted to be.
What's her time worth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then she charged her a full day.
Yeah,
when she didn't get a full day.
That's so when she came back the second time to get tattooed, she refused to pay any more money.
She should have.
Man.
No.
And this girl, the artist, turned around, called the cops on her. And then took her photo ID, which we do take copies of photo IDs, most studios do, and shared it with every tattoo artist she knows on social media, and they in turn reposted it over.
This artist sounds a real piece of work. Like, I've never seen anybody work so hard to not work.
Yeah.
She goes out of her way to not tattoo. She must hate tattooing.
She's acting like she deserves something more than what she's willing to give.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just going to constantly lead to disappointment in every exchange.
As an artist, if somebody's seeking you out to do work and likes your work, you should be ecstatic.
Yeah, right.
That person is into your work and the way whatever you do.
Yeah, nothing's forcing that person.
It's very flattering. Nobody's forcing them to do that. No. Nobody's forcing them to come see you. They sought you out, and if that doesn't give you enough of an ego boost and make you feel good, now you got to pump them for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong industry. You don't do this for the love of it, and you shouldn't be in this industry. You should get the F out.
Yeah, they don't have
Go to Walmart.
Any appreciation for that at all. They don't have. It's like they hold no responsibility.
None
for their client.
And no respect. That's no respect for this industry.
No. Yeah. Or the client.
Or the art or the artist.
It comes down to some things that, if you're new to tattooing, and maybe you found this because you're new, some red flags you want to look for. Non-refundable deposits that don't have any form of cancellation fee in it.
It doesn't go towards your fucking
upfront fees. It's kind of like getting a credit card and then like, oh, you're getting this credit limit, but it costs you $180 a year for this, and we're going to charge you interest on that for a month.
Get a clear description on what this money is for, and if you can get it back, and what you should be expecting for it, because just like that lady, there was tons of gray area, it sounds like, and a lot for that artist to dodge.
Right.
And if they're, if they're not on the level, they're going to leave it that way. Very just, well, give me some money and then I'll get back to you. Well,
And if you find an artist that you really like their work, if it's possible, I understand it's not always possible. Looking at their stuff online is one thing. That's great.
See it in the flesh.
See if you can contact or somebody who's gotten work from them before or somebody who's been worked on by that artist, and see if you can lay your eyes on something they actually did in person.
Yeah.
Like healed up, look at it.
And, if they're on the circuit at all, if they do any shows at all,
you can see it.
If more than likely, if you go to a show where that artist is, they've brought some people, or they're going to be surrounded by some people that have some of their work on them,
customers or something.
And you might even be able to get a dialogue started. There might be a chance to where you could talk to them and maybe even kind of lay a little groundwork and get a couple questions answered. But then you get to see them in the flesh. You get to see how they work more than likely. You get to, really find out about them. And if you're going to be spending that kind of money, if that's a lot of money to you, which a lot of people I know it is, it's worth the research. Yes. And who knows, along the way you might find things about this person that you don't like as much, and find another artist that you are just blown away by.
Right.
Let it kind of pull you in, and in your research you're gonna know more. So next time if somebody's asking for the moon for a sketch, you know maybe to look somewhere else.
Dude, as an artist, there's artists out there that I've looked up to forever, before I got in tattooing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get tattooed by them more than anything. And I know what they charge, and it's totally worth it. But I have to save up because, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
For stuff that's worth it, And it's nothing wrong with that. Like there's people out there that charge a decent amount of money for what they do, but
they have good intentions.
Exactly. But when you walk away from it, no matter how hard you had to work and save, you're going to be ecstatic with what you leave with.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they're going to do something they're going to make sure that you're happy.
Which means you're going to leave
they love tattooing.
no matter what.
Yeah, you're going to be
happy,
satisfied.
They'll try and maybe figure out a way to
make you
just
happy.
at least, make you,
Right.
Well, if you're not happy,
it's on you.
It's not like just a happenstance that there's a bus stop right outside, and you give the bus driver $50, he'll hit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're not happy,
go to the complaint department out here.
No.
Just stand right there. Yeah, where the line is.
We do not negotiate with terrorists.
But do your homework, guys. Do some research.
I really would find. I find it amazing she spent that much money and didn't visit the studio.
I find it amazing that this woman's not done it once, but more than once.
It just goes to show.
Well, that's what we know of.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So she's bound to have done it before, since
they've curated their Facebook reviews and shut them off everywhere else. So God knows how many people.
Well, there you go. They're going to be put out of business anyway. If you can't see what they're doing and what kind of work they do and get in touch with them, you're not going to get work by them.
Yeah. That you don't, you don't need someone else to regulate your life for you.
No.
Regulate your life to your, to your pleasure, to your needs, to your amount of protection of what you need. Don't just expect it to be taken care of for you. That's a very dangerous way to live, because there are people out there that aren't honest, that will tell you this is fine when it's not. And
normal.
You know what? You can still point at someone and say it's their fault while you're sick or injured, but you're still sick and injured, and they still don't care.
Right.
So take responsibility for yourself. Watch out for yourself. Don't expect someone to be there and do it for you, because if they're all up front in your face telling you how much they care about that, their hand is out wanting money for it, guaranteed. And it's more about that handout getting the money than it is making sure that you're taken care of. So look out for yourself.
The person out there yelling about how much they're going to do for you, how little you got to do, the more they can do for you,
They can take it away.
Be aware, because they're the ones that are the biggest crooks.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are looking out for themselves the most, because it isn't about you.
Yeah. So, all right. I think I have to pee now.
Yeah, we're getting to that point.
Okay.
I think we've beaten this to death for the most part.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wiggling anymore.
I would always say visit the studio, because you get a real vibe of who those artists are.
Absolutely.
One of the most common things that people, the first time they're in our studio, say to me is like, I really love the studio. I've never seen anything like this. And it's partly because our personalities are reflected in the studio.
That's a big part.
Yeah, and it's not always possible, but if, you got to know your limitations. You know, if you know you can't travel or aren't willing to travel, then look closer to where you can visit the studio. You know, because it could make a big difference. You know, sitting down with the artist is huge. You know, you get to feel each other out. You get to see what the vibes are. And if it's a good artist, they'll know if they're not your guy or girl, and you know, and direct you towards someone who is.
And the reason why you know more people that have been scammed by internet scams opposed to people that have been scammed in person,
way less,
is because it's a lot easier to do it without that physical same presence and contact.
If you go to the studio, you're way more likely to run into somebody that artist is tattooed, and you can see their work in the flesh. You know,
talk to people that are tattooed. We love talking about it.
Absolutely.
If we don't feel like we want to talk about it, we might be busy at that moment. But usually, if you go ask somebody about their tattoos and you're polite about it and ask them where they got it done,
they'll take the time
to tell you. Yeah, because we're huge fans of what we get and
who did them.
And if you're curious, we love to give you the right answers. You know, not the crazy stuff that floats around, because then it's less likely something like this is going to happen to you. You know, the more knowledge you get, the better, and it's harder to take advantage of you at that point. So,
a good artist, if you come in and ask them about something that's not in their wheelhouse, they're more than over the moon to shoot you to the guy that it is his specialty. We want you to get that good piece of work.
Oh yeah,
we're not looking for your money. We're looking for you to be happy, man.
Yeah, I mean, the more happy tattooed people walking around, the more likely I am to encounter people that want to get tattooed, that want to be happy.
Absolutely.
You know, if everybody running around is pissed off about it, you know, I'm not going to have as many people that want to come in, because not many people want to be pissed off.
Right.
So, you know, we want the experience to be 100%, whether it's with us or not.
Exactly.
Because we want happy tattooed people.
Yeah, man.
Yes, happy, shiny tattoo people.
I'll be happy when I pee.
Okay.
So no Velcro shoes.
Check out the merch store. Links are in the description. Until next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I hope to see you for your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Well, we do.
We do.
See you next time.
Be good, guys.